everyone and welcome to Anything Geek. My name is Zero and today we continue our breakdown of OP05 with the black color. If you haven't yet, I highly suggest checking out all my others video because we broke down all the other colors for OP05. So if you want to know all the cards in the set, make sure to check those videos out. Let's look at black cards. And the first one we have is not a leader for once because there is no pure black leader in this set. So we start straight off the bat with a character which is Viola, 2 cost, 3000 power with a counter of 1000, and an on-play effect, your opponent chooses 3 cards in their trash and they return them to the bottom of the deck in any order. Next card is gonna be Elisabeth 02. It's a 4 cost 5000 power card with a counter of 1000, and when attacking effect, once per turn you may return 20 cards from your trash to your deck and shuffle. During this battle, this character gains double attack and 1000 power. I literally see no downside to this. I mean, the only thing that you need to take into account is you have to have 20 cards in your trash, so you need to trash like crazy and then return them to your deck, shuffle so you get another chance at drawing them, and then it gains double attack and 1000 power. That's good, that's just good. We then have a 2k counter with the one-legged soldier, 2 costs, 0 power and 2k counter like I said. Activate main, you may send this character to the trash and give up to one of your opponent's character minus 3 costs. If you're the type of player that take advantage of minusing the cost of the cards using navy package or stuff like that, this is one for you. And next we have Shira Oshi, 1 cost, 0 power, 2k counter, so already good. And an activate main, you may rest this character and return 2 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order. If your opponent has 6 or more cards in their hand, your opponent discards 1 card. Now, I'm not sure about the activate main on this card, but the 2k counter really helps in any deck, so this might be something you consider. Next we have a vanilla card, Steady. It's a 2 cost, 4000 power with a counter of 1000. And next we have our first card of the new archetype that they are creating in the game, which is the Celestial Dragon. It's a 3 cost, 0 power, it's Saint Charlos, and a counter of 1000 with an effect that during your turn, if all your characters have the Celestial Dragon type, all your opponent's character get -4 to their cost. And of course for the Asian region they have more cards, so they might be able to cook up something with this effect, but we're only gonna take a look at if this is gonna be viable or not, because there's not that many Celestial Dragon cards in the game right now. Next is gonna be Nefertari Cobra, 2 cost, 1000 power and a counter of 1000. It's a blocker, so that's already useful, and on play, trash the top cards of your deck. I mean, it's still a low cost blocker, but we have yet to have any Alabasta Kingdom cards in black, I believe, so the usefulness of this remains to be seen. Next we have Vivi. It's a 1 cost, 1000 power and a counter of 1000, and her effect is if your trash has 10 cards or more, this character gains blocker. So with this card you need to constantly have something in your trash, at least 10 cards, so I wouldn't pair this with Elisabeth II that we saw earlier, for instance. Next we have Akuba. It's a 5 cost, 6000 power and a counter of 1000 with an effect that's done X1. When attacking, you may KO one of your character other than this card and give up to one of your opponents -5 to their cost. It's a very steep price, unless you have like small things on the board that you don't need anymore and you can KO. I don't really see myself KOing my own board to minusing the cost of something else unless I have a big thing to play and big reward from the move. Next we have Mancheri, 1 cost, 0 power with a counter of 1000, and activate main for 1 done. You can rest this character and return 2 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order. Then you can return 1 cost, 3 to 5 black character cards from your trash to your hand. So Mancheri allows you to have your pick among your trash to get a character back to play back on the field. Take it sort of like a monster reborn from Yu-Gi-Oh! Next we have our second Celestial Dragon, which is Saint Mjolsgard, 5 cost, 1000 power and a counter of 1000, and an activate main for 1 done. You may rest this character and one of your character, and you can add up to 1 black character with a cost of 1 or less from your trash to your hand. And honestly, so far, I don't see the value in this combo. Not as of right now, at least. You could potentially get back a Manchetti from your trash, but then why not straight up use Manchetti to get the cards that you want? This is very weird, and right now I don't really see the use of it. Next card we have is Rikudodo III, and it's a 4-cost 5000 character with a counter of 1000, blocker, and a non-play and on-KO effect, which is select one of your character with Dressrosa attribute and give this 2k power for this turn. A non-KO effect on a blocker is good to me, because if you have a non-KO effect on a card that is not a threat to your opponent, he has no incentive to remove it from the board. And also, KO is not the only way of removing something from the board. So the fact that it's a blocker helps it get the on-KO effect, and it doubles as a non-play effect, and it's clearly there to boost any Dressrosa type cards, which we already had some in OP04, so this is very good to boost that archetype in the meta. And next we have the first SR for black, which is Rebecca, 4-cost, 0 power and counter of 1000, with the blocker skills and also a non-play effect. You can return up to one black character other than Rebecca with a cost of 3 to 7 from the trash to your hand. Then you can play 1 cost 3 or less black character from your hand to the field rested. So the way I would play this straight off the bat is kind of get back the Luffy from OP04 from the trash, as well as play a blocker in the process. A blocker that I could potentially restand after, and if my opponent targets the blocker so I don't have it next turn, then the blocker will kind of have done his job already, so it's a win-win. Very cool card, I would play this in a Dressrosa deck. Next we have another Celestial Dragon, St. Rosewild, 5-cost, 0 power and a counter of 1000. During your turn, if all your character have the Celestial Dragon type, then all of your opponent's character gets -6 to their cost. And given how little we have Celestial Dragon right now, I would say this is to be paired with the Navy type cards, which are KOing left and right based on the cost. Speaking of the Navy, the next card is actually Rob Lucci from the CP0, 4-cost, 6000 power, and the non-play effect, you may place 3 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order, and then you can KO up to one of your opponent's character with a cost of 2 or less, and up to one of your opponent's character with a cost of 1 or less. So of course, with all the cost reduction mechanic that we have in the Navy archetype, you can pretty much milk this effect to get the most out of it, and possibly KO something big using the reduction cost and then playing a Rob Lucci. But we have already arrived at the event cards of the set, and the first one is Haute Couture Patchwork, which is a 1-cost event with the main effect, you can give up to one of your opponent's character -3 cost during this turn. Then, up to one of your opponent's character with a cost of 0 isn't set as active during the next refresh phase. Also has a trigger, you can draw 2 cards and trash 1 from your hand. You get draw power as a trigger, and you get prevention of restanding for your opponent that you can couple with some minus costing KOing cards from the Navy. I think this is a good event, and I can't believe I left my mouse on the way all the way through here. Well, hopefully this didn't ruin the video. The second event that we have is Dragon Claw of the Dressrosa and Revolutionary Army. It's a 2-cost event, which is a counter, so you have to use this on your opponent's turn, and up to one of your leader or character gain plus 4000 during this battle. Then, if your trash has 15 or more cards in it, you can KO up to one of your opponent's character with a cost of 4 or less. Also has a trigger, you can KO up to one of your opponent's character with a cost equal to or less than their life total. And remember, the Dragon Claw is a black event with the Revolutionary Army, but we have Sabo as a red and black leader for OP05. So you can totally play this. The last event that we have for black is gonna be I bid 500 million, which is a 3-cost main event that you can KO up to one of your opponent cost 1 or lower character, or return to its owner's hand, or place it at the top or bottom of its owner's life. Then, if you have a Celestial Dragon type character, you can draw a card. It also has a trigger. You can queue up to one of your opponent cost 6 or lower character or return it to its owner's hand. I think this would be useful because you got board removal and you can choose either to KO or like remove it in another way, either having your opponent having to pay its cost back, and even if the target of this event is a cost 1, remember you're playing in black, so you can reduce the cost of a higher cost cards and make it so that your opponent has to pay the cost back again to play it. And also the trigger does kind of the same, but targets a cost 6 instead of a 1, so that's pretty much a solid event for the Celestial Dragon. And the very last card for black in OP05 is a stage, and for 1 cost you can play the Holy Land of Marie-Joise, and its effect is during your turn, your character cards that cost 2 or more and have the Celestial Dragon type cost 1 less to play from your hand. So if you have enough Celestial Dragon to build a deck, you can potentially get this to be a low cost deck to play, but as of right now we don't have that much Celestial Dragon type. As you saw, we maybe have 3 characters and 2 events, so it's a pretty tough sell. But that is it for me, guys. Leave me in the comments below which was your favorite cards of the black color for OP05, or maybe you're more interested in one of the other colors. Remember, we've already put out the breakdown for the red, green, blue and purple cards, so make sure to check those out. And in the meantime, if you're still here, that means the video was at the very least entertaining to you, so please leave a like and also subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell to never miss anything geek. Bye guys.